chapter. I know that's a lot of verses, it seems like, but it's going to work out okay, I promise. We'll just take it a few steps at a time. And this morning we're going to talk about God controls what we can't in life. And John gave me a microphone. I'm not sure why. We'll turn it on. I think it's really so people in the back can hear the nursery. And we may not need it so much, but Exodus chapter 9, we're going to talk about God controls what we can't in life. And much of what we do on this temporary earth is really to try to control things. And sometimes we even try to control people. And it's kind of sad that we do that. When we think about that, it kind of makes you feel bad about yourself maybe. But we often have this continual battle as we wrestle to control things. We wrestle to be in charge of things. And we want to write our own story. We want to be in charge of that narrative. And the problem is we have this great fear that lies inside of us because we don't always know how something's going to turn out. We want to know the outcome. We want to be able to know what to expect. And we want to have influence over our lives and anything that's going on in it. And really, you and I are only comfortable when we're in charge, when we know what's going to happen next. And that's what we think we want to do, right? We want to control things. We want to be the master of our own destinies. We want to hold the reins to our lives. And it's our desire to be in charge of our lives and guide it in whatever direction we want. Sometimes we can guide it the wrong ways. But when we think we know something in life, we're willing to gamble. We're willing to risk things. We're willing to roll the dice, so to speak, to try to get the outcome we desire by investing in things that may or may not pay off. We invest in what we think might be profitable because we desire it so much. We often worry about things and stress over things and fret over things about wealth. We worry about our health. We try to figure out the future. The things that we try to affect often are things we can really not control. But we spend a great deal of time and energy and money trying to change it. We'll invest a lot in it. But often these are things we can't control. And there's nothing we can do to affect it. Sometimes, to be honest, we just can't control things. And during the days here in Egypt's rule over Israel, they were putting their faith in a series of false gods, period. They were putting their faith on a man called Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. And they felt they could really use these pagan deities to navigate their way in life. Like, if I do this, this will make him happy, I'll appease him, I'll gain his favor. And they would do it in such a way that you or I might try to take advantage of Wall Street, right? We'll get a stock tip, we'll do a little insider trading. It might be illegal, but it's okay if I can come out okay in the end, right? And just like those kind of things can break the law of the land, as we turn to the Bible, we'll see that Pharaoh and the Egyptian break God's law, try and control things that are really out of their hands. And thankfully, God controls what we can't in life. So let's look at our first 7 verses this morning. As we talk about God controls the Egyptian wealth through their livestock. Exodus 9, 1 through 7 reads, Then the Lord said unto Moses, Go into Pharaoh and tell him, and saith the Lord God of the Hebrews, Let my people go, that they may serve me. And for if thou refuse to let them go, and wilt hold them still, behold, the land of the Lord is upon thy cattle, which is in the field, upon the horses, upon the asses, upon the camels, upon the oxen, and upon the sheep. There shall be a very grievous marrying. And the Lord shall sever between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt, and there shall nothing die of all that is the children of Israel. And the Lord appointed a set time, saying, Tomorrow the Lord shall do this thing in the land. And the Lord did that thing on the morrow, and all the cattle of Egypt died, but of the cattle of the children of Israel died not one. And Pharaoh sent, and behold, there was not one of the cattle of the Israelites dead. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let the people go. As we look here at this 5th plague, Pharaoh is still entrenched in holding the Jewish people hostage, right? He's going to keep them as slaves. He refuses to let God's people go. And he's trusting his own native gods there, in his own power as man, as he tries to hold out against the will of God. When you think about that battle, it seems silly, but we do that just like Pharaoh. And the result is death and judgment here. The death of the livestock, and this was a judgment against those false gods there of Hathor and Apis. Actually, Hathor is the goddess, and Apis is a god. Both false, but they were both depicted in cattle that had much to do with that area of life. And as with previous plagues, God will protect his people. Israel will be spared, but the Egyptian cattle, they will all die. God was steadily destroying the economy of Egypt while showing his ability to protect and provide for those who obeyed him, thus being Israel. And Pharaoh was so unnerved by this and knew it was so true that he even sent his royal investigators out to check on Israel, right? To go to Goshen, that area there, and see what was going on. He tells us in Exodus 9:7 that he finds out that the Israelites were not suffering along with the Egyptians. He knew God was real, and he knew the Lord was at work. But he was unwilling to give in to God. He was unwilling to confess sin. He was unwilling to trust God. So what does he do? Well, Scripture tells us the result of all this was, all this knowledge that he had was, I'm not trusting. And so he hardens his heart. He becomes angrier at God because he is powerless against him. He becomes angry at Israel. As you think about this here, there's a long list of creatures shown. And it's not that a specific animal is killed or dies, becomes sick. It's not a specific strain. It's not limited to this area over here where we can say it's just a bug and it's just got that area of the county over there sick, those critters. Just don't buy anything from that side of town. We're going to put them in a different lot. We're going to watch them for a while, quarantine them. But it's everything that inhabits Egypt. Every animal in the barn, everyone in the field is affected. Except those in Goshen, except where the Israelites, the Jewish, the Hebrew people are. Where they live, they're fine. You can go there, you can eat the cattle, it's alive, it's all good. But the livestock here we're referring to as cattle, it's more than just a cow in Egypt, right? Yes, it is the cow, but it's also the horses, the donkey, it's the oxen, the sheep. Goats would have been affected also more or less, but goats were more of a rarity there. But goats and definitely the beloved camel. And just like a bad infomercial, I get to tell you, but wait, there's more. Because it also includes the feathered and the fowl, right? Ducks and geese and chicken and things like that. The beast of the field here is everything that you would think of today as being out in the pasture, out in the forest, out in the barn. Okay? It was the hoofed and the feathered creatures, those that were providing milk and meat, those that were the beasts of burden that got the work done, and those that bared the weight of others and things and were for transportation. All of those things died as a result of judgment against Pharaoh for his sin. Because of his sin, his pride issues, his unwillingness to follow God, it would cripple the economy of Egypt. And God would show that he is greater than man. He is greater than any created deity. And Pharaoh began to get a clue. He began to go, I think I understand. I see what's going on here. And he would understand that the beauty and the goodness and the power of God is there for him in life, but he's going to refuse it. He will still refuse God. And he will rebel against him. And now we find out that he hardens his heart and does it purposefully. Pharaoh, while God was protecting Israel, Pharaoh, he could have relented, he could have released Egypt, Israel, and he could have saved his nation, right? Saved the animals of commerce, all those things that were providing for wealth in daily life. But he refuses. So when we get to verses 8 through 17, we're going to find that God now will control the Egyptian health through boils. Let's read together Exodus 9, 8 through 17. It says this, And the Lord said unto Moses and unto Aaron, Take to you handfuls of ashes of the furnace, and let Moses sprinkle it toward the heaven in the sight of Pharaoh, and it shall become small dust in all the land of Egypt, and it shall be a boil breaking forth with the blains upon man and upon beast throughout all the land of Egypt. And they took the ashes of the furnace and stood before Pharaoh. And Moses sprinkled it up towards the heaven, and it became a boil breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beast. And the magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boils. For the boils were upon the magicians and upon all the Egyptians. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had spoken unto Moses. And the Lord said unto Moses, Rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God unto the Hebrews, Let my people go, that they may serve me, for I will at this time send all my plagues upon thine heart, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth. For I know I will stretch out, for now I will stretch out my hand, that I may smite thee and thy people with pestilence, and thou shalt be cut off from the earth. And in very deed for this cause have I raised thee up, for to shew in thee my power, that my name may be declared throughout all the earth. As yet exalteth thou myself against my people, that thou wilt not let them go. Pharaoh, wow. If losing all your livestock was not enough, that was not bad enough. Now Pharaoh is told, I'm going to release all my plagues against you. And so Pharaoh, his sin now brings up this plague of boils, right? God keeps giving him opportunity like he gives you and I opportunities in life. And Pharaoh, just like I often will, does the wrong thing. Instead of being grateful for God, for his goodness, for his grace, he instead says, I ain't doing that. Just like I was a kid with my parents sometimes, I refuse to do the right things. And so Pharaoh, his sin brings upon his nation the plague of boils. And it's a sin for refusing to follow God. This sixth plague is a judgment against God's, that would have given them health and prevented disease. And so they would have said, oh, I'm going to trust this guy over here. If I bring him offerings, maybe he'll keep me from getting some illness. And so these would have been little gods, little gods, Sekhmet, Sanu, and Isis, were the gods they used. And this time the Bible says that fine dust would become boils to the Egyptians. So painful that even Pharaoh's big bad sorcerers, magicians, and cultic priests, they could not even endure it. It affected them. They were powerless with all the power their gods had versus the one true God. And so Moses could stand before them, but they could not stand before Moses. And clearly these religious leaders were finding out they were powerless against the God of Israel. So God, the Lord, Yahweh, he says to Moses and Aaron, take a couple of fistfuls of soot, throw it from the furnace, throw it up in the air, do it right there before Pharaoh. Be in front of his face, right there in front of his eyes, so he can see, and he can know, and he can understand. You took dust from the furnace, right? Soot, leftovers, right? And you threw the ash in the air, and it became boils by my power. And so they fit all throughout the dust of this dust all over Egypt, and it caused sores. These eruption of boils on both people and animals throughout all of Egypt, right? And they did it just like they were commanded, and it happened just like God said, and not even the great sorcerers escaped the boils. But did Pharaoh go, that's it, I'm done? Did he even say time out? Did he relent? Did he surrender? Did he give up? Did he say, you Hebrew kids, get out of town, go while I can, here's some gas money, just leave, you go worship God, I understand now. Did he become faithful to that? No, not at all. Pharaoh's just stubborn, pig-headed like you and I are so often. So what does Pharaoh do? He doubles down. He hardens his heart even more. Even when disease covered the land and the very health of his people and the nation's animals were at risk, he does the wrong thing. I really feel that the word Pharaoh might be Egyptian for Chris. I don't know if it's Egyptian for your name or not, but it feels like it. Because what he does is he refuses God's will and he trusts himself. And that's one of the biggest things in life we do is we forget who's in charge and we put all the emphasis on us, on our shoulders, and we think about what am I going to do? How am I going to do that? We don't make plans in life by consulting God, we make plans, and when they go bad, we call out to God. But Pharaoh hasn't even got to the point he calls out to God. He still feels, I am king, hear me roar. And his roar is not being heard by God. His roar is not being heard by his false gods. It is falling on the deaf ears of beings that don't exist. And so, in our own life, I have to ask, and maybe you really need to ask yourself, who are we listening to for wisdom? Who are we consulting? Who are we trusting? Whose lead are we following? Am I following mine? Or am I trusting God who says, you know what? I have carved out a path for you. I have a light there you can put upon this world so you can see where you're going and not fall into the abyss. When God presents His truth to you and you hear it, are you taking heed and saying, I need to trust God. I need to follow Him? Or do you listen to yourself and do like Pharaoh says, nah, I'm not doing that. God, I know you have your best for me. You have plans to prosper me. You don't want to hurt me. You don't want to see me destroyed. You don't want to see me weak. I should trust you, God. Or do you say, I'm going to do it my way. I've got this. Because in many ways, you and I are just modern-day Pharaohs. Maybe we don't have the cool headgear. Maybe we don't have all the glitter and the golden things. But we are modern-day Pharaohs because we're trusting ourselves. We're trusting the things of the world, things that have been created by man. We're not trusting the eternal one true God, who's almighty, who's doing things that nobody can do, and nobody can stop, and nobody can change. Maybe you have to be like the Egyptians, and you have to lose some health. You have to get sick before your heart is turned to God. You say, no, that's it. I give you control of my life. I'm putting it all on you. Maybe you have to be faced with some kind of consequence in life, some kind of life situation where it's not in your control anymore. You look at your hands and go, I can't do this. God, I give it up to you. Now, I don't seek that for you, and I don't want to pray that for you. I don't really want to play, Lord, crush them until they cry out. Be unmerciful to them, Lord, in dealing with them until they find out you are true and they worship you alone. That's not a prayer of pleasure for anyone. But sometimes I'm afraid that's what must happen. We must hit rock bottom and then dig under before we realize, oh wow, Lord, you were always there. And I've always been rebellious. I've been a Pharaoh in my flesh the whole time. Sometimes it's not until we lose grasp of things that we begin to realize that God is ultimately who we answer to. I thought the song, talks about it's my party and I can cry if I want to. Well, this might be my life, but really my life was His life. And that great modern philosopher, John Bon Jovi, I know you're laughing at that, but he said, it's my life, it's now or never, I'm not going to live forever. Now, he was talking about relationships. He was talking about a girl. But there's a greater relationship than a romance. It's much more beautiful. That results in much more love, and that's the relationship between you and God. And you're not going to live forever. It's your life here on earth. But you can give your life to Him, and He gives you eternal life. And it's now, or maybe, just maybe it'll be never for you. I don't know. I can't speak for you. But the truth is, we're not going to live forever. Let's look back at Exodus chapter 9. Let's look at verse 18 and go through verse 26 as we talk about how God controls the Egyptian future through provisions. God controls the Egyptian future through provisions. Exodus 9:18 and onward says, behold, tomorrow about this time I will cause it to rain a very grievous hail, such as hath not been seen in Egypt since the foundation thereof, even until now. Send therefore now, and gather thy cattle and all that thou hast in the field, for upon every man and beast which shall be found in the field and shall not be brought home, the hail shall come down upon them, and they shall die. For he that feared the word of the Lord among the servants of Pharaoh made his servants and his cattle flee into the houses. And he that regarded not the word of the Lord left his servants and his cattle in the field. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch forth thine hand toward the heaven, that there may be hail in all the land of Egypt, upon man, and upon beast, and upon every herb of the field throughout the land of Egypt. Moses stretched forth his rod towards heaven. And the Lord sent thunder and hail and fire along upon the ground, and the Lord rained hail upon the land of Egypt. So there was hail and fire mingled, with hail very grievous, as there was none like it in the land of Egypt since it became a nation. And the hail smote throughout all the land of Egypt, and all that was in the field, both man and beast, and the hail smote everything, every herb of the field, and brake every tree of the field. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, there was no hail. When Pharaoh was warned about the hail, he didn't care. For him, it wasn't a big problem. What can you do to me? So he doesn't see this as an issue that he needs to deal with. And with God trying to help him understand, he could have made a different decision, but God's going to help him now, right? He's going to take some blinders off of him so he can fully understand who God is. And that really all the health and the wealth and the provisions, they're coming from him. Without God's common grace and his blessings, there is nothing for him there. And it's the part of common grace, we call it, that he gives towards all men. I often phrase it this way: the rain falls on both the weeds and the seeds, both those things that I like and those things I don't. So when we have good rain, we have good strawberries. We also have a bunch of weeds and thistles and things I don't like. But if we have drought, everything dies, whether it's a useful plant or not. Although I've grown to the point I think you should only plant things if you can eat them. I'm not even sure if you should plant things if they're pretty. Only if you can eat them. But I'm getting weirder, I think, as I get older. But the favor here is not being given into by Pharaoh, right? He's not seeing that God's giving him this. And so he doesn't realize that God's favor is where his fortune comes from. It comes from the behest of God's goodness, right? He saw this as a challenge to his power. Who are you to say you're the King of Kings? I am Pharaoh. I'm the King of Egypt. This is my land, right? And so he saw this as God coming after him, right? To steal his power, to take away his kingship. And even Pharaoh feels if he's slightly affected, I can change my luck. I'm the man. I can get somebody to do something for me. I can go give an offering to another god maybe, and that'll work out. They'll change the future for me. And so, in truth, Pharaoh did math, right? He counted it up. He did what he always did. He thought, this won't affect me. I'm the king. I am untouchable. And so he carried away, not worried about where he would be at and place. He felt so secure that he really didn't feel challenged by God. Now think about it. Plague after plague, he brings the magicians in. They try something. They can maybe duplicate it, but they can never stop it. And when they duplicate it, they only make problems worse, and it's uncontrollable. The magicians can't prevent it themselves from being changed by this and things like that. And so it's not really a good deal for them. And so here, Pharaoh has this mind of like a 9th-year senior, right? Like a frat boy who does not worry about what can happen because somebody else is paying the bills, right? He comes from maybe a very affluent family and they're just happy he's out of the house, and so he doesn't worry about things. And Pharaoh's rebellion is kind of like he's saying, I'm Pharaoh! This is Egypt! Nobody can touch me! Because he's the big man on campus. And yet God, he reaches out like his AT&T, right? He touches Egypt. He touches Pharaoh in a mighty way. Scripture tells us that hail rained down all over Egypt. Everything that was exposed across the land, whether it was a creature, or a crop, person, it was smashed, obliterated, pulverized, pummeled by divine hail. Nothing that was left open out there in the fields was left untouched. Scripture actually says they were pulling beasts of burden, these animals, into their homes to try to save them. Nothing that was left untouched except Israel, over the land of Goshen, where the Hebrews lived. They were fine. And they were never affected by life's problems here, right? By this life-taking hailstorms. The Israelites were stayed from this plague by God's divine hand over them like an umbrella, and it was to serve as a further testimony to Pharaoh, right? That this was the handiwork of God. But Pharaoh is not a good listener. He's kind of a slow learner. And sometimes you and I, we're the same way, aren't we? We know something. Like, the doctor sometimes will tell you, lay off salt, it's not good for you. But you go home and you have french fries and hamburgers from McDonald's, which is probably not a good combination either. But we'll eat and do things we shouldn't. Sometimes the doctor says, getting a little older, you might want to look at reducing some weight. And we scoff through, what are you talking about? I'm picture perfect health. And he's going, well, but your blood pressure's up. You're having a bit hard time getting around. Maybe if you lose some weight, your body will feel better, the joints will act a little bit better. And so in our own life, we don't listen to you. Let me ask you this. Are there places in your life right now where maybe God is speaking to you? And you've heard His message, but you're not really taking the warning. Is He sending you a message that if you don't stop something, if you don't repent or change direction in your life, right, from your will to His will, that maybe there's some impending consequences for you, that there's some things that if you keep pushing, you're going to get there, all right? But what's at the end of the rainbow is not going to be a pot of gold. What you're going to find if you keep pushing your way, trying to get your will back than God is, He's going to say, okay, I'll let you have it. But when you get what you thought you wanted, it's not going to be pleasurable at all. It's going to be painful. Maybe you've already found that in a few places in life, and maybe that's the message you need to listen to now. But what's going on in your life right now that you value it more than God? Are you counting on the provisions like Pharaoh was, right? I'm going to look at my future sales. I'm going to look at my job, right? My bank account, my stocks and bonds. I'm going to trust my cattle sales. I'm going to look for some tax breaks that will give me power in my life and power over my finances and my future and provisions. Are you trusting those things more than Almighty God? Because that was Pharaoh, right? He did the math. He said, you can kill some cattle. I'll be good. I'll still be the king. I'll be powerful. I'll still have 1,000 heads of cattle. And we're thinking, but really, because our Lord is described as having cattle on 1,000 hills and more. See, Pharaoh had his false sense of security. And you and I get a false sense of security in this world sometimes. And you need to ask yourself, what you have in life, could a really good thunderstorm with lightning and a whole bunch of hail change it, maybe even ruin it? If your life could be rocked and just shattered by a horrible storm, tornado, hurricane, maybe what you're trusting in is the wrong thing. I talked to a kid the other day. He's all about video games. God love him. And he keeps talking to me about things, and I just shake my head and nod a bunch. And he came to me one day and said, oh man, Mr. Price. I was like, what's up, guy? He said, man, I went home, my video game doesn't work now. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, man, I don't know, it worked this morning before I came to school, and now it doesn't work. And so I'm thinking, power surge, yeah, just check the cable. I don't know what it is, but he says it's no good, it's gone. So now he's trying to figure out how to get more money, get it. But it's like, for him, because everything in life revolved around that console, for him, that's life. Life is more than a box that can fall apart or break or get a power surge or have a bad day or whatever. I don't know what's wrong, and maybe it works today, maybe figure it out, I don't know. But for him, he was investing in something that he had no control of the outcome of. Maybe he can push up, down, left, right, A, B, whatever, and get what he wants for a moment, but now, if it's not working, what does he have? He invested countless hours in it. And I don't want to say that's just kids and games. I can talk about adult men sometimes and the things we like, or ladies. But we all have things sometimes we're investing in more than our relationship with God, or we choose it completely over God. I don't want God to get in my way because I still want to do this in my life. And so maybe we should be putting our faith in God, who created the world, instead of things that are created and that are in this world. Hail is something kind of weird to me. A few years ago, actually it's probably been more than a few years ago, Denise and I had an Easter egg hunt in our house for the church. We had some property at the time, and had a bunch of people there, several hundred people, which is scary because the parking lot was our front yard, but kids are hunting Easter eggs everywhere, and all of a sudden it becomes a hailstorm, and I saw things that I'd never seen before I thought were possible. The truth is, I learned, and I understand now, that hail can come down at maybe 100 miles per hour. And that if you get hit in the head with a golf ball size of hail, you could die. Nothing I want to find out personally. But also, hail is just not frozen water. Sometimes there's like little twigs in it or or pieces of rock, like pebbles and things, that had frozen, got up and down the sky until it's formed that big ball. And I've seen it golf ball size, and baseball, and softball, and it's not always cute and round, like some people show the pictures, but it can be so destructive and so damaging, especially when it's got something else inside of it. And so I have seen it just simply obliterate glass, knock out windows, shatter windshields. I've seen it take plastic and just break it like glass. It just shatters, nothing of it. I've seen it punch holes through fiberglass on cars and leave just huge dents. And I mean deep, not like, oh, just little glaring dents on a car. I've seen things where the body man says, we can't fix that. There's nothing we can do. I've seen it tear up roofs and sides of houses. And all this calamity that's going on here for Pharaoh and the land, is killing animals, is killing people, is destroying crops. That for us would be taking care of our homes and our cars and the things we value so much that are a bit shinier maybe than hay. All that calamity there in our lives normally comes through the sin of rebellion, right? Of pride. I ain't doing what you say. We say that to God, we say that to our boss, to our parents, to somebody in our lives. But Pharaoh here, he's got that pride going on, right? He's got that rebellion going on. And he is going to continue to strut like a peacock. Although he's begun to realize when it comes to God, my goose is cooked. My magicians can't do anything. My false gods can't touch him. And so he will go forward. Why? Because he's prideful. Because you can't touch me. I'm Pharaoh. I'm rebellious. I will buck up against you no matter what. So we got just a few more verses to say with me. Let's look at verse 27 to 35. As we look at God controls all, and Pharaoh confesses a lie. God controls all, and Pharaoh confesses a lie. Exodus 9:27 on through the end of the chapter says, and Pharaoh sinned and called for Moses and Aaron and said unto them, I have sinned this time. The Lord is righteous, and I and my people are wicked. Entreat the Lord, for it is enough, that there be no more mighty thunderings and hail, and I will let you go. And ye shall stay no longer. And Moses said unto him, as soon as I am gone out of the city, I will spread abroad my hands unto the Lord, and the thunder shall cease. Neither shall there be any more hail, that thou mayest know that the earth is the Lord's. But as for thee and thy servants, I know. I know that ye will not let the fear of I know that ye will not let yet fear the Lord God. And the flax and the barley was smitten, and the barley was in the ear, and the flax was bold. But the weeds and the rye were not smitten, for they were not grown up. And Moses went out from the city, from Pharaoh, and spread abroad his hand to the Lord. And the thunders and the hail ceased, and the rain was not poured upon the earth. And when Pharaoh saw that the rain and the hail and the thunder ceased, he sinned yet more, and hardened his heart and his servants. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened. Neither would he let the children of Israel go, as the Lord had spoken by Moses. You know, the first thing Pharaoh says here is, I have sinned this time. Honestly, he sinned before, but he says, I've sinned this time. God, the Lord, he's righteous. And me, my people and I, we are evildoers. We are wicked. We're sinners, right? It sounds so good at first, right? But these are really picture-perfect words of somebody who's confessing sin, who's repenting. Lord, you're good, righteous, and godly. I am not. I'm unholy. I'm a sinner. I'm foul. Right? These are things that you might think of if you were confessing sin or asking God to save you. You might pray something like this. And so Pharaoh has the ideal of repentance here, but he doesn't have repentance in his heart. True repentance is not there. And he hasn't worked that out here. So Pharaoh, he's not grieved by the consequence of sin. But he's upset about what sin has caused him. You would think, well, what? You know, he's upset more about, I'm getting my hand slapped, than he is, Lord, I'm a sinner. So the sin itself is not what he's upset about, it's about what's gone wrong. It's like when somebody gets in trouble, and they say, oh, I'm sorry. They're often not sorry for what they've done, they're sorry for the consequence. They're sorry because they got caught. They're sorry because there's something negative coming. Students sometimes, or children sometimes, or maybe a loved one will tell you, oh, I'm so sorry about that. But what they're saying is, I want to escape from what I've done wrong because it's getting me in trouble. I know you're going to take something away or something's going to change my life. They're not sorry about what they've done. They're sorry about the hurt or the pain or the negativity or the distrust or what's going to happen to that relationship afterwards. You ask them, oh, I'll do it again. And that's often the problem with people, right? They're repeat sinners. They keep going back, right? Because they don't care about hurting people, they just care about getting caught. It's that selfishness that we have. It's a thinking error, they say sometimes. And so Pharaoh goes on to say, I know you will not yet fear the Lord. Moses tells them that, right? And so Moses' response is to show him, right? And to help him. He says, God's going to teach you, don't worry. God's patient. He will help you understand. The problem is for God to help Pharaoh understand, it's got to get worse. And if you're like me, I don't like to learn on my own. I want to learn from somebody else's mistake. I don't want to find out if I stick the fork in that electrical socket, that's going to hurt. I want to hear about somebody else who's done that so I know not to do that. I don't want my own pain in life. I'm willing to not have it to learn from somebody else. So Moses is telling him, you'll learn. It's okay. I know you're not there yet. You're saying all the right words, but you don't have the right meaning behind them. It's not in your heart to say, I'm sorry, forgive me, Lord. You're just saying you're sorry. And you want out of this problem. And so Moses knew that the promise to touch Pharaoh's firstborn is still there, right? He was warned back in Exodus 4, right? Verses 22 and 23. 4, 22, 23. He was told that, and he knows it's coming. It's going to be fulfilled, right? The firstborn will be wiped out. So he knows, Moses knows that Pharaoh is starting to get the picture. He's starting to understand, but Pharaoh is still willing to just hunker down in the flesh and be rigid and put his foot down and not follow God. Moses gets it. Why? Because Moses has done the wrong things too. Moses, remember, he's the man who murdered others, ran not to get caught, hid out in the desert for 40-some years. Why? Because he sinned. He didn't want to deal with it. And so we find the king of Egypt, he's the same way. He is still mired in his pride, thinking his power is limitless. He can't be touched. Then you see, he says what? He says, he sinned yet more. Pharaoh, he knew he was wrong, so, oh, I'm so bad, forgive me, I'm so sorry, I'll change my ways. And before Moses could leave the room, he's like, I ain't doing that, I'm getting what I want. I just tricked him, right? And he hardens his heart, right? He chooses to sin more. And not only does it say he hardened his heart, he hardened that of his people and his servants, right? He says, you guys, I want to get you together. We're going to talk bad about God, about those Jewish people over there, and we're not going to have this, right? He got other people involved in his sin. So not only are they suffering the consequences of it, now he's going to invite them to join him in sin. And so they are failing to repent, right? Pharaoh hardens his heart against God, right? He chooses to sin more actively. God has answered his plea, right? He's going to stop it all. But he ignores what's really going on. He ignores that God is rich in his mercy here, right? And he says, I don't care. He's getting what he asked for. Is a non-believing man. It's a sign to him that God is real and true because he is seeing God is real and true. But even when he asks a man of God and God takes this and does this, he's not going to follow through. The problem is this. You and I, even when we're blessed by God, even when we are wrong, I mean all out wrong, and God still comes through for you and I and does a great and mighty work in our life, we're just as guilty as this Egyptian leader, right? We will snub God's gracious warnings. We'll go, yeah, okay, I'm not following that. God will give us a sign, He'll bring somebody to us into our lives to show us something. We'll find something in Scripture that says, don't do that. If you do that, there'll be consequences, right? Simple ones, thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not steal. But we still do it. And then we think that, well, God, He'll just show up in a heartbeat and give me what I want, right? God's not a magic lamp, right? It's not the genie. He says, here's 3 wishes. What do you want? And so we will be snide with people even when they come into our lives and says, God has better for you. God has something greater He desires for you. The path that you're taking, the actions in life right now, they're not God's best for you. They're hurting you. And I see it. And I want you to know I love you and God loves you more. He wants better for you. When people come to our lives like that, we don't take that well. Even though they come and they're courteous and they're kind and they're gentle and they are speaking the truth in love like Scripture says, we hear that and we go, who are you to tell me? We do that, right? We snide to them. We snub them too. And so God sent those people to intervene in our lives. And Pharaoh, he could have appeased God's wrath the whole time, right? But what does he do? He gives lip service, right? He just mouths the words. He doesn't mean it. He could have been an empty-headed puppet for all we know, but he could have got rid of God's wrath on his life and upon the people there. He could have, but he decided, you know what? I'm going to be silver-tongued. I'm going to be a smooth talker. I will tell God what he wants so I can get what I want, and I'll get over on him. It shows you he's still a fool at heart. He still is not fully understanding. He's understanding, but he thinks he'll get what he wants, and he will use God. And let's be honest, we do the same thing. I will live my life any way I want, but when it goes wrong, dear Lord, give me this, amen. And we will show up in a heartbeat. Singer Derek talks about this in one of his songs. He talks about how we are the bride of Christ. And he talks about how we are supposed to be wearing the wedding garments, right? The wedding dress. And he says, we will live like the devil, we will dress and do anything, and we will all of a sudden throw on that wedding dress, and we will run to the altar like, oh, it's time to get married, it's time to be with you, God, because we know something's wrong, but we show up in a tattered, muddy, sleeve ripped off, holes in it wedding garment, because we've not been doing all the right things. And so here we have Pharaoh, he's doing all the wrong things too. He is pursuing sin more than he is God, and he's hardening his heart against God. God shows him, and he says, that makes me mad. I'm going to go further the wrong way. Here's the truth. You and I can be called Pharaoh here, or we can be called faithful. It's your choice. Will you be Pharaoh or faithful? You can invest in things you think are more profitable to you, or you can invest in faith that's trusting God. You and I, we often worry and stress about things we can't touch, we can't fix. We worry about our health, and we fret over it to the point that we get sick. We worry about money and spend time trying to get more money, which you can't just produce money. And we worry about a future that we don't have any control in, that we can't see and understand. We often try to affect things that we have no effect over. We spend a great deal of time, money, and energy trying to change things that we can't. They're not in our hands. Good thing is that God can change the things that we can't. He controls those things that we don't. And God splits the big stuff and the small stuff because he's in control. It's taken me a long time in life to learn that. Nothing is too big for God, that is, nor is it too small for God. Often we don't trust God. Why? Because we think that's too small, that's too petty. It's too menial for God to deal with, right? It would be petty for him to deal with it. Then we won't trust with God, with our Lord, with things that are kind of like everyday life, right? Because, well, that's so mundane, that's boring, that's just everyday stuff. Why would I talk to you about everyday life stuff, although we want you to? And then we forget what? That in our humdrum lives, he's still Lord God Almighty, he's still sovereign, he's still in control, and that the whole world is in his hands. But sometimes we refuse to trust God with really, really big, great things. Things that we cannot control, right? But we refuse to turn them over because fear keeps us from going to God. If I don't do this, if I don't keep control of this, if I don't keep an eye on this, if I don't have my hands in it, I will not be sure how it works out. I can't see it through the end. I have no control over it. But I don't go to God with it. In our lives, we often think things are too big, or too small to let go of, right? We think they're too boring to trust God with. We think they're too this or too that. And so, if you're not trusting God with things that are too big, or too insignificant, or too mundane, what are you trusting God with? What do you have faith in? How are you using this faith? 1 John 5:5 tells us this. Who is it that overcomes the world? Except the one who believes in the Son of God, Jesus Christ. That's the important part. That's where real faith goes. I can have faith in things in this world. I got some car keys in my pocket. And I can take those car keys and go to your car right now, and I can try to put my key in the door. It's not going to open it. If your door is open, I can try to put my ignition key in your car. It's not going to start it. So you can have the wrong kind of faith. As a kid, I thought Nolan Ryan was the greatest pitcher ever. If you're in Texas, he is. Maybe in another state, you'll learn that he is. But I know some things about Nolan Ryan. I will get to drive possibly later this week on Nolan Ryan Expressway. I remember him playing for the Astros. I remember watching him do no-hitters. I remember him later playing for the Rangers. I remember the day he put Rob Mitchell in a headlock and showed him that he is the king of Texas in baseball. But I am not trusting Nolan Ryan to save my soul. Nice guy. Sells some steaks, right? He sells some foundation liftings, but the foundation of my life is never going to be built on another man just like me. It's going to be built on Jesus Christ and Him alone. When I was a kid, I remember up here at Ellis 1 and 2, usually the area is called Estelle these days, there was a campground. You could see it from the Trinity River Bridge. I remember riding down that hill as fast as I could. I was staying there while my dad was working the prisons. My grandmother, we were staying in one of the little cabins there, and we were having a great time and catching fish. But I remember going down that white rock hill as fast as I could on my bike, and then it got to the point it was getting uncontrollably fast, and it started to shake, and I couldn't control it anymore. And I remember hitting my brakes as hard as I could, and I remember calling out, "Oh God, help me," because it was out of control. I couldn't do it. And thankfully, somehow I locked up the brakes and came to a screeching stop and slid all the way down the hill. But I was safe. I'm now 41. I am no longer trusting God to keep me from that situation. I trusted Him then. It's temporary, just for a moment. But I'm not trusting Him now. Sometimes we have head knowledge faith. Sometimes we have temporary faith. Real faith is trusting Jesus Christ alone. So when you take everything that you are and you place it upon Jesus Christ. Now, the problem for you and I is this. As adults, we often think about money. We're trying to make both ends, meet in the middle, right? We're trying to stretch out our paychecks. We're trying to pay a mortgage or pay for another car or college or whatever we have. We try to pay for things, right? And so we will go to the Lord and we'll say, "Lord, I'm going to trust you with my wallet, Lord. I can't handle my finances. I'm going to put that on you, God. You take care of it." But my marriage, I don't go to God. It's too embarrassing. I can't talk to God about the fact that we're having problems and struggling. We don't know what to do with our kids, and we think they're all messed up. And we may have done it, but we're not going to admit that either. And I can't say that, "Lord, I sometimes don't like him or her, or I think we're going to get divorced, it's falling apart." We don't give God all parts of our life. We just give Him one section of our life. Well, salvation comes through faith alone, by trusting Jesus Christ alone. It's putting every part of your life on to Jesus Christ and saying, "That's it. No longer in control. I trust you. I'm not going to be Pharaoh. I'm going to be faithful." It says in that same book of 1 John, if you go from verse 5:15, it says this, "I write these things to you who believe in the name of the Son of God." He says, "I write to those of you who believe in Jesus," right? Why? "That you may know how to live." He says, I have had somebody sit down, pin this, write this out, so you know that if you trust Jesus Christ as your Savior, you have eternal life. You will be in heaven with me and God the Father and the Holy Spirit. You're not going to miss out. You trust, you have faith, not in Nolan Ryan, not in a momentary fleeting thing, not just with your walk, but in all facets of your life. If you will trust Jesus Christ, if you will believe on that one name, the Scripture says, believe in your heart and confess with your mouth. If you'll do that, you may know you have eternal life. Galatians 2:15-16 says this, "And we ourselves are Jews by birth and not Gentile sinners." I like how he says, we're the better guys, right? A bit of pride there. That's us as people. Yet we know that a person is not justified by works of the law. He's saying this, guys, you're not going to make yourself holy or righteous for good. You're not going to establish a relationship and keep it with God by the things you do. I could go and serve the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts and the animal shelter and every good deed and profitable working thing here in town, and still I won't have a relationship with God. Still I don't have eternity promised. He says, but through faith in Jesus Christ, it's not by the things I do, but by the work that Jesus Christ did on my behalf. So we also have believed in Jesus Christ. I love that. Jewish people there, right, says, we're kind of good and holy. We're not sinners like those guys or those Gentiles. We realize we've been wrong. It's not by the things we're doing, the rules we're keeping. I went to Sunday school. I put my turn signal on. I didn't cheat on my taxes. He says it's not by the things I do. It's by the work of Jesus Christ. We get that. So I'm putting my faith fully in Jesus. All parts of my life in order to be justified or made right by faith. It's a beautiful thing. Here's the thing. Some of us today, we think we're really living. We're living large, we're living good, we're living life. It's summer, it's a great time. We have a great life. But it says in 2 Corinthians 5 and 7 this, for we walk by faith and not by sight. Some of you are walking through this life blind. You're walking through spiritually dead. You may even understand why on the inside you feel hollow or empty, dead. You feel something is missing. You can't get a picture of it yet. You haven't figured it all out. So you're not trusting Jesus Christ. You don't have a new life in Him. You've not been born again, as Scripture says. But you have that by trusting in Jesus Christ by faith. Not by the things you can see, not by the things your hands can do, not even by the places your feet will take you. It's in Jesus Christ alone. This morning, as our musicians come forward, we want to invite you to have a relationship with Jesus. I have one, many others here have one. We want to share that with you. And so if that's something you'd like to start today, we're going to ask you just come forward, come talk to me. And if not, we ask you to come back again and we can talk about some other time. I want to pray for you. Hi, Pastor Chris here from Chapelwood. And when we say that Chapelwood is a church of people just like you, you may wonder who's attending Chapelwood. Well, we have everything from school teachers to recovering drug addicts. We have grandparents and cattle ranchers, former professional disco dancers to IT personnel and a resident missionary. We have single moms and insurance agents. We have special needs students and office workers. We have lawn care specialists, real estate agents, and stay-at-home moms. We have people who are retired and people who work every day down on the farm. We have people who work for Sam Houston as well as for TDCJ. We even have those who simply just volunteer and give their time to visitors at the state park. What you will find in Chapelwood is this: normal people who are imperfect people who have everyday life struggles just like you. And they're finding life's answers in the Bible, and you can too. So we invite you to join us at Chapelwood this Sunday, where we can love you just like Jesus loves us.